If you read the presidential polls like a Red Sox fan like me reads box scores every day, overreacting to everyone, you probably feel as if this race is stacking up pretty nicely for Barack Obama. And you might be right. The just-released New York Times CBS News poll puts Obama ahead 52-39 nationally, 13 points. Senator Obama himself, before leaving the campaign trail to see his ailing grandmother, campaigned today in the unlikely battleground of Indiana. He sounded like a candidate with the wind at his back.
Indiana, in just 12 days, you have the chance to elect your next president. You'll have the chance to bring the change we need to Washington. That's the good news. But we're going to have to work. We're going to have to struggle. We're going to have to fight for every single one of those 12 days to move our country in a new direction. It's not going to be easy, but I'm hopeful about the outcome.
As Obama drops off the trail now for 48 hours, Senator McCain is making his final move, reducing his advertising in Colorado, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Maine, and Minnesota. That's according to Democrats who monitor ad spending. In Colorado, the Republicans cut their spending for McCain by 46%. Now, these are signs of defeat or resignation? Not necessarily. In fact, they could be seen as signs of a final offensive. The McCain campaign is starting to focus. Broad withdrawals of money elsewhere free up, say, a couple $1 million for McCain to spend in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Florida. Tomorrow, with Obama off the trail, McCain will spend all day in Colorado and time in New Mexico on Saturday. Meanwhile, the Obama campaign is casting a wider net. Joe Biden will spend the next few days in West Virginia and Virginia, and Obama will stop in Nevada and North Carolina on Saturday. What does this tell us about who's going to win the election and how? It reminds us, because we all know this, but it's easy to forget, it reminds us that there is no such thing as a national election. And national poll numbers are essentially just a beauty pageant. You can win nationally by a mile and still lose the presidency by a mile if you don't win the right states. McCain's going all out for the electoral votes he needs to pull off an upset, targeting Florida today, launching a Joe the Plumber tour. He had breakfast with Tom the contractor, Tim the sports pub owner, Patricia the kitchen supplies purveyor, and Richard the florist.
Whether it's Joe the plumber in Ohio or Joe over here, thank you, Joe. Joe, thank you. There's Joes all over here.
John the senator is working the map to try to win 270 electoral votes. With wise disregard for the meaningless national popular vote, McCain has charted a new course to 270. With the trifecta of Florida, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, he can do it. Keep North Carolina, Virginia, Indiana in the Republican column, along with the 21 other states Bush won that aren't battleground territory. That would give McCain 270. So are the odds with Obama? Yeah, they are. Can McCain eke out enough battleground squeakers to render Obama's big national lead totally irrelevant? Yeah, he could. And it is clear now that that is McCain's plan. Let's turn now to the governor of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, Tim Kaine. Governor Kaine, it's so nice to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Rachel, I've been looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you. As I see it, the McCain campaign is marshaling its resources. Bullseye on the swing states, bullseye on the electoral vote. Do you see it shifting that way?
Right. I do. The reports about him pulling down ads or cutting ads dramatically in many of the states means that he's just decided there are a certain number of states he has to win. And I think the ones you mentioned, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Virginia, are places he's going to be playing hard. But we got a good feeling here. As you know, for Virginia to be a battleground state is pretty darn unusual. We haven't really been in play for a very long time, but Senator Obama's doing quite well here now.
The Mason-Dixon poll has Obama ahead by 2 points in Virginia. Time magazine has Obama ahead in your state by 10. But as you well know, polls in your state can sometimes be deceiving. Where do you see the state of the race right now?
I would say it's close. There hasn't been a poll that's come out, I think, since the beginning of October that has had Senator McCain ahead. The Mason-Dixon poll, which is a two-pointer, had Senator McCain ahead by 3 points when they did it right at the end of September. So the movement has been favorable for Senator Obama. But what we tell everybody is, look, we haven't won electoral votes in Virginia for 44 years for a Democrat. So no matter what the poll says, we got to believe we're the underdog until we can break that string. But the enthusiasm, the polling, the grassroots energy, and the organization for Senator Obama are very strong right now, and we feel like we got a great chance.
I know that you appeared with Senator Obama, I think as recently as yesterday, in Virginia.
Yes.
When he's making these multiple appearances in the state, and I know he's been all over the state and he's been going there for a very long time, what do you think that he has done well in terms of connecting with voters, and what does he need to do over the next 12 days to try to close the deal?
Well, the senator is no stranger to Virginia. I endorsed his candidacy 1 week after he got into the race in February of '07. He came to Richmond a week after he got into the race and has been back often since. Just since he became the putative nominee in June, he or VP Joe Biden, VP nominee, have been here probably 10 times compared to just 2 or 3 times for Senator McCain. So it starts with presence. They have more than 40 offices opened around Virginia. They're out advertising the Republican ticket. But I think what he needs to do at the end is just, again, drill down on the 2 issues that Virginians care deeply about. We want to change in the direction of the economy, and Senator Obama's proposal to focus his tax relief on the middle class and on small businesses. That's where success is measured, how the middle class and small businesses are doing. That's a message that he hit hard yesterday and needs to keep hitting. And then second, we are a state that cares deeply about the military and national security. Rachel, as you know, there's hardly a more military state than Virginia. 1 in 10 Virginians is a veteran. We've got active duty, National Guard, reservists, military family, DOD civilian employees. The endorsement of General Powell last week in a state like Virginia cannot be overestimated. The rationale that he gave, that we've got to have a steady hand at the tiller as we're trying to deal with these big national security challenges, so that we can be strong militarily but also have strong diplomacy and a strong moral example. And General Powell's vouching for Senator Obama in that way is hugely helpful here in the final days.
On policy issues, on endorsement issues like that, what the Obama and Biden ticket have been doing, the way they have been asking for Virginians' votes is fairly clear. What we are seeing from the McCain-Palin ticket is a lot more discussion of character issues and association issues. A lot of robocalls, for example, painting a very unflattering and in some cases pretty nasty biographical portrait of Senator Obama, saying he is not who you think he is. What about those personal issues, those character issues, and how well they resonate at a time like this in a place like where you live?
I think they are backfiring big time in Virginia. The 2 biggest gaffes in Virginia recently have been, first, Senator McCain's brother Joe was campaigning, and in a public event in Virginia, he referred to Northern Virginia as the communist part of Virginia. Hey, this is where the Pentagon is, that got attacked on 9/11. It's where John McCain's national headquarters are and where he lives. It's where 30% of Virginians live. That kind of talk really makes Virginians mad. And then a McCain spokesperson this week tried to diss parts of the state that were for Senator Obama, saying those aren't the real Virginia. And that kind of comment does not make Virginians feel warm and fuzzy. In fact, it's exactly the thing that caused Senator George Allen to lose his race in 2006, talking about the real Virginia and making disparaging comments about parts of the state where, he didn't feel like he was getting enough votes. So these kind of personal attacks, the robocalls, and then these efforts to disparage parts of the state are going over like a lead balloon here.
I asked former Governor Wilder this week how those issues that you just described were playing in Northern Virginia, and he said, I hope they play and play and play and play
right.
to the benefit of Senator Obama. That's exactly right. Sorry, go ahead.
When you're on our side and you hear those, you don't know whether to groan or just tell them to keep saying them all the way through Election Day, because they're definitely pushing undecided and independent voters who want to hear about solutions. They're pushing them into our camp. Yeah,
probably best for the next 12 days just put them on a loop on the outgoing answering machine. Yep, Virginia Governor absolutely. Tim Kaine, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, sir. I really appreciate it.
You bet, Rachel.